society.
Greenpeace activists have broken into one of France's nuclear power stations to highlight its vulnerable security.
Là, on est au pied de la piscine. Là, il y a Mathieu qui est en train de se faire déloger. Voilà.
Je suis Pascal, militant Greenpeace.
I am Pascal, a Greenpeace activist. We decided spontaneously to enter the Cruas nuclear power station. We succeeded in getting into the cooling pool.
Well, it's not the first time Greenpeace activists have managed to enter a French nuclear site. With 58 reactors, France has the second highest number of nuclear plants in the world. The country is deeply reliant on them as they account for 75% of its electricity. Now, in a report published in October, a number of international experts assessed the risks posed by nuclear plants. They highlighted security shortcomings in France and in Europe generally, pointing out that most plants were built before modern-day terrorism emerged. France recently replaced its two-year state of emergency with tough anti-terror legislation to help it deal with the threat posed by terrorists. The state electricity company that looks after nuclear sites said no threats were posed and, despite the pictures we just showed you, insists that the activists failed to access nuclear pools. Former British Army intelligence officer Chris Hunter told us that Greenpeace still succeeded in highlighting a danger.
Given the number of power plants in France and across Europe, of course, there has to be a review of security, and certainly there have got to be multiple layers of security, whether that's what they call physical security, the electronic surveillance, the fences and walls that actually alarm when there's any sort of intrusion. This incident in particular tells us quite a lot about the level of security. Getting over one fence is a possibility, but I think they managed to get quite close to the area where spent fuel rods are stored, and that is quite a concern. There are, a significant number of power stations across France that are nuclear power plants. Those facilities were built long before there were threats from Al-Qaeda and ISIS. They were built, to protect against everyday threats. Security definitely has to be tightened, given the number of these facilities and, the number of vast threats from Al-Qaeda and ISIS.